Okay guys, look what I found here online, GDPR enforcement tracker. So basically, if you are in breach of the GDPR laws that are in place in your country, you might be liable to fines. So as you can see here, this company here got fined 20,000 euros, this one 180,000, this one 800,000, and so on and so on. So I'm based in Ireland myself, so I might think I'm off the hook. So let's click on the Irish flag here and let's see what's happening. So in Ireland, there's a company here that got fined 405 million. This one 463,000, 17 million, 110,000, 60,000. The lowest fine is 1,400 euros. So this is a very, very serious matter indeed. Okay guys, so today I have a very important message to share with you all. So today we are going to have a look at something that most of us consider as not so important on the website, and that is our privacy policy page. So if you are like me, you might think that it's not that important. You can simply copy and paste generic terms on your website and there you go, Bob's your uncle, done deal, right? After all, it's no big deal, it's just a small link in your footer section, right? Now here's the thing, this is not true, or at least this is not true anymore, because as you just saw, your privacy policy can cost you thousands, if not millions, if fine, if you don't abide by the laws where your business is located. Now, fortunately enough, this has been brought to our attention, and we have with us today a specialist when it comes to privacy policy, who's kind enough to share his knowledge and experience so that we can all benefit from it. So let me introduce you to Hans Kilrud, Vice President at Termageddon, a company based in St. Charles, Illinois, which was founded by a licensed attorney who also serves as the chair of the American Bar Association's e-privacy committee. So we are in good hands today when it comes to privacy policy laws. Now, if you are a web designer watching this, be sure to stick around to learn about a completely free offer as well. Very good. So first, Hans, can you please tell us, is this real? Are companies really being fined for not abiding by the rules and regulations when it comes to privacy policies?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me on. So yes, businesses are being fined for non-compliance with GDPR. That is a privacy law that protects the data of residents of the EU. And that law can apply to you regardless of where you're located. It applies to you if you offer goods or services to residents of the EU or the European Economic Area, or if you monitor the behavior of residents of the EU or the economic area. And by monitor the behavior, that could be examples of like using analytics tools to track users visiting your website from the EU. And it's really important to understand that GDPR, like all privacy laws, are designed to protect and regulate the personal data of residents of that area. So it doesn't really matter where your business is located. What matters is if those laws apply to you. And if they do apply to you, you're required to make very specific disclosures within your privacy policy. Failure to provide those disclosures or failure to be non-compliant with that law is what is resulting in businesses being fined for non-compliance. And we've all seen in the news big companies being fined billions of dollars, but enforcementtracker.com sheds light into even small companies that are getting dinged with fines. There are one-person companies being fined 60,000 euros for changing one of their email addresses of one of their subscribers without their consent. So yes, businesses, website owners are being fined for GDPR non-compliance, and we are seeing an increase in these fines. And my prediction is that we're going to see more and more as time goes on. My reason being that, in the US alone, there's 4 new privacy laws going into effect next year in 2023. And California's second privacy law, CCPA, is being changed to CPRA, which is going to require new disclosures if applicable to the business. We also have Quebec launching their first privacy law, Quebec Bill 64. That will give Quebec residents even more privacy rights because they already have Canada's federal privacy law, PIPEDA, already providing them with privacy rights. Now, to add even more complexity to this, because the United States doesn't have a federal privacy law that regulates general websites and their collection and use of data they collect, we have individual states proposing their own privacy bills, many of which, if passed, will enable citizens of certain states to sue any website owner for collecting as little as an email address on their contact form without proper privacy law disclosures required under that specific privacy law. New York's a great example of it. They have 3 privacy bills out right now that if any one of them passed, it will enable consumers of New York to sue any website owner for noncompliance, for failing to provide New York privacy law disclosures. So that's a long-winded way of answering your question, but it is basically, my thought is, yes, there are currently fines being issued, and I personally think there's going to be more over time and potentially even lawsuits.
So guys, as you can see, this is something to take very seriously now. So Hans, can you tell us, how can we protect ourselves and avoid such fines?
I'd be happy to. So the very first step any website owner needs to take is to find out what laws apply to them. And that is because privacy laws protect and regulate the data of people of certain states, countries, and continents. So if you're collecting that regulated data, you need to find out if those laws apply to you, because only then can you identify the disclosures you're required by those laws to make. It's pretty simple once heard, but I think it causes a lot of confusion because I think a lot of people think they can just go and copy and paste a privacy policy template or go rip one off a competitor website, which by itself is copyright infringement. But even then, it still does not really, at least for me, create confidence that I'm providing the disclosures I specifically am required to make. And really what that's all about is just taking that first step. And once you find out the laws that apply to you, you then get the set of rules that you need to follow to respect people's privacy accordingly. So yeah, I would say the very first step one needs to take is to identify the laws that apply.
Okay, very good. So now, clearly these laws do change quite frequently, and if you're not a lawyer, it's quite hard to keep up with them. So tell us, Hans, is there an easy way for us to keep our privacy policy up to date and make sure that we avoid those hefty fines?
For sure. So always the best option is to ask your attorney to, help you find out what laws apply to you and then draft policies that make the disclosures you're required by law to make. That's easily the best option because attorneys can provide you with legal advice. With that said, not a lot of small businesses have the type of funds to hire an attorney to not only draft their privacy policy, but then keep it up to date over time. And that is where privacy policy generators kind of fit a hole, I guess you could say. So privacy policy generators are intended to, a good privacy policy generator will help figure out what privacy laws you need to make disclosures for, and then the questionnaires will adapt to ask you the questions necessary to make those respective disclosures. So a privacy policy generator, and obviously I'm a little bit biased because I run Termageddon, but a privacy policy generator will walk you through that setup and then provide some embed codes which you copy and paste into your website. And that is what will allow the generator company to monitor privacy laws, notify you of changes, and even have the ability to push updates automatically to your policy pages with new disclosures. So that is something that a lot of small business owners take into consideration. Even if they have an attorney, they can use a company like Termageddon and even share access with their attorney to review what's been generated. So personally, I'm a big fan of generators because not all attorneys love dealing with privacy. In fact, I don't know many that do, just in general. But a company like Termageddon can help you generate those comprehensive policies to make sure you're providing the disclosures you're required by law to make, and then moving on with your business and focusing on other parts of your business.
Okay, so now all of this seems very promising indeed, but what's the cost of such a solution? Do you need to remortgage your house, or what's the story?
So if you're going the attorney route and you have a website that is accessible all over the world and you're tracking users and you're collecting a lot of personal information, if you're hiring an attorney to draft your policies, chances are it will be quite expensive because an attorney will have to review each policy, privacy law, identify all the disclosures you're needing to make, and then combine that all into one comprehensive privacy policy for your website. This can be extraordinarily expensive. I've heard of customers being charged 50 grand. That is an extensive price point, but I have heard it. But usually it comes into the 5 to 15K range. So it can be expensive going the attorney route. Alternatively, a company like Termageddon will charge $99 a year. You will receive a set of policies that automatically update over time, and you will also be able to keep up to date with the changing privacy law landscape through our notifications, through emails, and our dashboard notifications as well. So a lot of companies use a tool like Termageddon to just draft policies that are comprehensive, You can share it with your attorney if you want to. You can share it with your web designer too, so they can embed the codes, and then move on. But that would be a decision that the business would have to make, what's best for them. The pro to an attorney is that you get legal advice, but the con is it's much more expensive. The pro to a generator like Termageddon is that you can generate policies much more affordably at $99 a year, but they're not legal service providers, so you can't like ask them for legal advice while you go through the questionnaire and stuff. So hopefully that helps clarify the two options I think are the best routes to go about getting policies. Now, with that all being said, I know your audience, many of your audience members are web designers and they offer web design services. As a former agency owner, I ran a 12-person web agency that I sold in 2019. As a former agency owner who had no idea what to tell clients about website policies, I really wanted to make sure Termageddon was built with web agencies in mind. So if you are a web designer, I would love to give you a free license forever with Termageddon. Just go to termageddon.com and click Agency Partners and apply to be an agency partner. We give you a free license forever, no credit card required, nothing like that. And we do this in the hopes that you're willing to put in the time to represent your own website professionally with comprehensive policies. And we also do this in the hopes that you actually like our tool and consider using our reseller or affiliate programs to offer Termageddon to your clients. I don't know about you, but right before site launch, I would get questions all the time from my clients. What should I do for my website policies? And I used to say, I have no idea. I'm not your attorney. And then it just got awkward because they would ask me to copy and paste legal documents from other random websites, and I just felt like that needed to stop. So I created Termageddon. We give away web agencies a free set of our policies as well as reseller and affiliate access, so the agency can also make a little recurring revenue while also helping their clients get protected. So yeah, if you're an agency, I'd love for you to try us out for free forever, no credit card required, and that's in our agency partners area.
Now, would you have a last piece of advice or information you'd like to share with us?
My last piece of advice for web agency owners in particular would be to embrace privacy regulations rather than try to run from them. As a web agency owner myself, I tried to avoid the privacy policy conversation as much as possible, and then GDPR came out and I kind of got a little uncomfortable with it, and now we're staring down the barrel of 6 new laws going into effect next year with 36 privacy bills in America alone. I think rather than trying to hide from it, agencies should embrace the discussion of regulations happening in our space because there are free assets you can use. Termageddon provides several of them where you can just provide a document to your client to sign where they acknowledge that it is their responsibility to comply with laws, not yours. So by having a client just sign a document where they understand that things like names and emails are regulated pieces of data. And although you built the features that collect that data, you're not responsible for their website policies. I think that's a wonderful way of putting responsibility into the right hands. It should not be the web designer's responsibility to have the client comply with laws. It should be the business owner, the website owner's responsibility. And a waiver can capture that documentation and give them options, they can select the option to hire an attorney and provide you with policies to add to the site. They could use a generator like Termageddon to add to their website, or they could choose to do nothing. But no matter what option they want to do, have them sign that document because that gives you a timestamp the moment they agreed and understood that it is not your responsibility for them to comply with laws. So that would be my last piece of advice because I think it's just a good long-term strategy. As more regulations come in, I think web agencies need to make sure they're protecting themselves as they build out websites that hopefully will be around for the foreseeable future.
Well, thank you very much, Hans, for all the information provided here, and we really appreciate your input on this matter. Now, I'm legally obligated to mention that this is for informational purposes only and not for legal advice. If you're looking for legal advice, please contact your attorney. Okay guys, so if you go to their website, termageddon.com, you can sign up today, and as you can see, you can protect your business from fine and lawsuits in less than 30 minutes by creating your privacy policy, terms of service, and even more with Termageddon. So a very easy step. All you have to do is click sign up today. Now, what's the cost involved? Well, like mentioned, it's going to cost you just $10 per month. That's all, $10 per month to protect your business and avoid hefty fines, obviously, Now we said there's a special deal for agency partners. So if you click on agency partner here on top, it will bring you to this page. And now if you scroll down at the bottom of this page, you will see there's a form here. So this is for web design agencies and freelancers, and you can apply today for a free set of auto updating policies. All you have to do is basically fill out this form, click register, and that's basically it.